Hi, we're going to go a little farther with this piece. I'm going to add a little, just show a little bit of texture, a way of adding some texture. We added that little color bit to his uniform, and now I thought we might add a little bit of a pattern there. And people ask me all the time how to do that and make it wrap to the form and such. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to make another layer, make something a decent size, let's say about here. And I'm going to fill it with a pattern. And there's certain, I'm just going to grab a stock pattern from Photoshop, just these little checks, and do OK. And let's change it into like an overlay mode, a mode where we can actually see what's going on underneath. And what we want to do is, I just want to apply it to the part on his side. And and it's going to be pretty subtle too when I'm done with it. We kind of roughly want to get it to where we want it to go with this tool, with just that was the transform tool. It's Control T, and if you hold your mouse or brush out here, you get to rotate or resize. See, when you have like this way, it's resize. This way, it's resize. If you hold the Shift key, you constrain the proportions, so it's proportional resize. You can make it taller. I often will use the, especially when I'm putting something into perspective, if you hold the Alt key, not the Alt key, excuse me. If you hold the Control key, you can move the individual points, so you can see how you can put that into perspective really quickly. But all I want to do is kind of get it there, because I'm going to shift to the liquify tool to do the rest. Okay, get rid of these crawling ants. Alright. Now I'm going to use the liquify tool to really make it shape to the right place there. So filter, liquify. And you want to show the backdrop because you want to see where you're making it go to. I have the top selected, which is sort of just shoves the things around. I'm going to make the brush size a little bit bigger. But with it, you can see as I pull stuff, I can make it follow the form better. See, you just kind of warp it. And I don't really want to see, it will show you a copy of what the layer you're warping looks like, and I think that just gets confusing. I really just want to see how it looks from the bottom one, so I'm going to have show backdrop and show background. That's better. So now I can really see how it would fit this guy. And you also can use the edge of that color as a little bit of a guide, because if it is a patchwork like this, then it should be like in a pattern, there would be like, see this little block and that little block, those should all be about the same size. Okay, and I want to turn it a little bit more. This is just a wonderful tool. And so it pretty much follows it. I can make it go a little bit more. I like using this one more than I like using, like I could switch, because right down here I want to get more of a turn going to it. Hang on a second, just shove in here. Well, I think that actually kind of did it. That looks pretty natural, because I get a nice kind of belly stretch going on here. And again, I'm using the edges to match it. Now, notice you can go, so I'm just affecting a far edge by where you put this sphere. And it has an undo. But see how that works. I do that a little bit. But again, just checking to see how our blocks are. A mistake people often use with this brush is to make it too small. Watch what happens if I try to do, so if I try to do that same sort of manipulation, see how it just warps the little individual. I mean, this is great for other things. See, isn't that cool? Not for what we're doing, but for little tiny, like I want to pull this right in here a little bit. Get that to follow the form a little more, squish this up a little more too. push this one in a little bit, not affect too much of the stuff around it. You know, again, start big and then go back in little. Okay, so I'm going to tell this okay. And then I'm going to take our eye off that layer, and I'm going to select the band, because we just want the pattern in the band. I'll hold the Alt key to anchor my selection so I can then lift up. I don't have to be always pressing down, and I can reorientate my hand if I want for a smoother arc. Oops, I guess it was already selected. Do it again. Okay, and then in the layer where I put the pattern, you go down here, and if you click on that, you'll make the selection it'll be your mask. So there you go. And then we want to change this because I don't want it to be that strong. You can also play with the blending modes. Like, let's say this is a great trick. I don't know if I've shown it to you in the other ones. If you click on one of the blending modes, and you can just use the arrow key to cycle through them now. That's kind of interesting. It shows the little squares. But I'm just using the down arrow key, and I'm cycling through all the different layer modes, which I think is pretty cool. Especially when you're experimenting, you can see like what works, what doesn't work. Overlay works the best for me in this case, I think. Overlay. Okay. And then, like I said, I'm going to drop the opacity down because I don't want that pattern to be too strong. I won't be able to see some of the hatching we've done below. But again, I just want the detail of a pattern being there. And then what I might do as well is pick a darker color. I think I talked about this when we were doing the pattern originally, and giving us a little bit of an edge. Oops. Okay, so that was a mistake what I was doing. See how I was in the frisket area? I want to be there. So you see the little brush. If I'm drawing in the mask area, you'll see a little mask selection. So there we go. Now I'm going to be drawing where I want to be drawing. It just helps define it by adding that little edge. See? And if you want, you can always change the color of it or all kinds of other things. But I think it's a great way to show just a little bit of, it gives you just a little bit more detail for the eye. I mean, you could do that, then repeat it down here on the thigh, or repeat it up here pretty easily by using the same way I did it. I would take it, I'd rotate it basically to where we want it to be, and then use the liquify tool to do the wrapping. Very controllable. All right, that's how you add an easy texture. We're going to do some more artistic textures in the next tutorial.